So here we are. It's day 2 of spring training. Yesterday we had all the hype of baseball coming back. So baseball's back. No split squad today. It was just one game, and we played Cincinnati at home and didn't turn out the way we wanted to. Despite jumping out to 1-0 lead in the 5th, the Cubs spring training bullpen once again failed, and we lost this game 5-2. I'm not really frustrated, just a little irritated because of the cause of who allowed these runs and just how that should be reacted to going into this year. Other than that, we do have some positives to take from this game. I'm a Cubs fan. I have to find positives in virtually everything, and we do have some. So I'm just going to go down and see what happened and who played. Chris Denorfia with a base hit. How about, I don't even know his name. Jonathan Herrera, this man, who's 30 years old, actually just trying to get another shot with a big league team, comes in. He gets 2 hits with an RBI. Then you're also looking at guys that really aren't competing for a spot in this team. Guys are perennial minor leaguers. Adron Chambers comes through with a run and a hit. Javier Baez 0 for 3 with a strikeout. That's a bit frustrating. Billy McKinney came in later in the game. He had a hit. Mike Olt goes 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Christian Villanueva with an RBI. David Ross with a hit. Kyle Schwarber goes 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Junior Lake picks up a hit and a stolen base. Albert Almora was 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Chris Valleca 0 for 3. Matt Caesar with a hit, which was a triple. He picked up a run. And I guess the biggest positive to take from this game is going from the fact, not a lot of the big hitters came in, not a lot of them had a chance. It's frustrating to see what happened to Javier Baez, but the Cubs played this game without Anthony Rizzo, without Addison Russell, for pretty much all of the game without Chris Bryant, without Starlin Castro. So, you're looking at guys that really weren't, playing that much in this game because they weren't there. It's frustrating. Arizmendi Alcantara doesn't pick up a hit. Javier Baez doesn't. Mike Olt doesn't. Albert Almora doesn't. And that's fine. Kyle Schwarber didn't either. But the big positive to take from this game is the pitching outside of, one little mistake there. John Lester went 2 innings. He allowed a hit with 3 strikeouts. That's the type of performance you want to see. Jason Mott pitched a scoreless inning, allowing a hit. Hector Rondon pitched himself out of some trouble, allowed a hit and a walk, but also got a strikeout. Pedro Strop and Zach Roscoe both the perfect innings. Justin Grimm looked good. Why is Brian Schlitter on this team? And I've ranted about Brian Schlitter so many times for those of you who have watched my videos from last year, but why is he on the team? I understand it's spring training, and it can be frustrating to just watch this repeat itself, but Schlitter comes in, allows 4 hits, 5 earned runs with a walk. I mean, come on. This is a guy that, you've given too many chances to, and if you want to be competitive, you saw last year, sure, he had a little bit of a dominant stretch, but you cannot let that decide the type of pitcher that he's always been, and he's been a lackluster pitcher for the entire time, and this guy cannot be in the big league bullpen. You have to figure that's why you picked up a guy like Jason Mott. If you get your bullpen to have guys like Jason Mott, Hector Rondon, Pedro Strop, Zach Roscoe, Justin Grimm, these are guys you're going to want to see in your bullpen, not Brian Schlitter. And I think this is a clear message to show that he's somebody that does not belong in the big league team if you want to be competitive, especially when you got a guy like Neil Ramirez as well. So it's just a bit frustrating, but you know what? It's good that this happened. It shows the Cubs what they have to do, what type of action has to be done in order to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. It's spring training. This is a process of learning. I guess another kind of frustrating thing, Chris Bryant strikes out on 3 pitches to end the game. And look, that was his first spring training at-bat. Was it? I don't think it was his first of the year. But, it wasn't his first of the year. What was it? I talked about him yesterday for 3 minutes. Chris Bryant hasn't gotten a hit yet in spring training, and so what? He homered in his first spring training at-bat last year. In all likelihood, he's going to be down in AAA for 21 days, and that's fine, because, you got to look at what has to be done to move the Cubs forward, also financially considering everything. I don't like the fact that they lost this game. I don't like watching my team lose, and even worse, I don't like watching the Cardinals win, and they did today. But it's spring training, and this is a learning process for everybody, And I think, with Joe Madden getting accustomed to this team, I think it's just going to take some time in order for the Cubs to acclimate to this, figure out who they need on their team. We're still looking at Wellington Castillo, who's probably going to be dealt before the start of the season with David Ross and Miguel Montero. Speaking of that, Miguel Montero didn't play in this game, so that's another guy that, probably would have changed the course of this game. But overall, a lot of positive things. Dominant pitching outside of Brian Schlitter. Outside of Schlitter, this pitching staff allowed 3 hits and 2 walks, and no runs. So that's really impressive, especially when you're looking at how good John Lester looked, how good Jason Mott looked coming back off of that injury, Hector Rondon, Pedro Strop, is all good stuff. And just a bit of an update, Hunter Pence will be out 6 to 8 weeks with an arm fracture. A little unfortunate what happened there, but you just got to move on. Luckily, he's not out for the year, and it's not too severe, so it's just good to see that there weren't any positive, what am I saying? That there weren't any long-lasting effects on him. It's going to hurt the Giants with him being out 6 to 8 weeks, but at the same time, it's not a whole season, and hopefully it won't have any detrimental effect on his career. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I know who we are playing, so I expect, so I expect what to talk about, essentially. But yeah, like I said, Cubs will be playing games every day, so I'll be doing videos every day. Tomorrow, the Cubs will be at the Rockies at 2:10 Central, so I'll give you a video about that. Rockies are expected to be one of the worst teams in the league, so hopefully we see what the Cubs can do there. Other than that, we still have hope from Clark and Addison. We got games every day, so it's always good to keep ourselves caught up on those. And we still got 1 day less than a month until home openers. So that's really exciting. So other than that, that's all I got for today, and have a good night, Cubs fans.